Hi, this is Ms. Luce, the K-8 Instructional Technology Specialist in Liverpool, with another tech tip. Today's tech tip is how to use Kami to complete assignments in Google Classroom. So here you'll notice that I have clicked on the assignment, and it's a PDF that I'm going to annotate in Kami. Notice right now my screen, the background is kind of black, and I don't look like I have any options here. I'm going to click here, and notice now I have Open With, and I'm going to choose Open With Kami. It's going to take just a minute for Kami to load all of the features that I'm going to be able to use as I complete my assignment. One of the things you're going to want to make sure of is when you get into Kami for the first time, you're going to want to make sure that you're, well, mine says teacher, but that you have an educational license, okay? You're signed in as a student. And then over here that your initials are there so that we know for sure that your account is connected to your Google Drive. Okay, so now I've got a couple of selection tools. Notice here I have a dictionary. I can highlight a word using the dictionary tool, and it's going to provide me with the definition of the word. Also, just so you know, I'm going to close this here. If I didn't want to see all of these descriptions of what the tools are, I can toggle that, and it makes it a little bit smaller. But right now I'm going to leave those descriptions on for you. Also, down here, you might see the option to move the tools from one side of your screen to the other. I personally like it on the left-hand side. I've just gotten used to it there. Underneath the dictionary is text-to-speech, so I can use this to play the directions for me or to read the problem to me. So I'm going to select.
Study the example showing how to find the value of a set of coins, then solve problems 1-7.
Now, if I don't particularly like that voice, I can change it, and I can also change the speed. So if I change the speed, I can back it off just a little bit. 0.8 is kind of useful. So let's try this again.
Study the example showing how to find the value of a set of coins, then solve problems 1-7.
Okay, now I might want to use the markup tool. And so this top one is the highlighter. So the highlight works like this. I'm going to say, in the example, it says, Mindy has these coins. How many cents does she have? All right. This is important. There we go. I'm going to highlight that. Maybe I need to underline the answer as part of the question. So I'm going to underline the important parts. And so I can do that with the box. I just use the box tool, or I'm going to use the eraser. I'm going to show you how you can do this. I'm going to erase that. That was the eraser function. Or let me go back up to markup. See this one that says underline here? I'm going to choose the underline, and this time I'm just going to highlight here, and it makes it nice and neat for me. So it just underlines it that way. You'll notice that you can change the color of the highlighting and the underlining by clicking here or clicking on the more colors in the palette. As I'm working, I may come up with a question that I would like my teacher to address at some point. And so I can use the text commenting tool. I could leave my teacher a voice comment, and it's going to record my voice. I can ask a question, or I can leave a video comment. The other tool that is going to be helpful is the text box. And so I'm going to use the text box to fill in information. So I'm going to use that text box here where it's asking for my name. And you can see as I started to type in this text box, I had some other options. So I can change the style of font. That's the type of writing that appears. I can change the size of it. and I can change the spacing. So if I want to make some changes now that I've already typed my name, I'm going to highlight over top of it, and then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change the font and maybe change how large the font is. If I change the spacing, that changes the spacing in between. So if you're writing a paragraph, that might be really useful. Next to that is bold, italics. I can underline and I can strike through, and then there's a couple of different options here in terms of shading. Let's see if I pick yellow, that'll stand out. Okay, so you can do it like that. Notice I clicked off the text box, and now I don't see those editing tools, so I can go back if I need to and just click in the box and I can continue to work. Notice there's lots of features in here just like you would find in a word processor. You can do the numbered lists and the bulleted lists, and you can change the alignment. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to take this off, and then I'm going to click. Now, if I wasn't, I didn't have exactly where I needed to, I'm clicking and dragging the text box around so I can move it to where I need it. Okay, let's keep going. So the equation tool gives me the ability to insert some things that I may need, such as special symbols for math, greater than, less than, or equal to. I have some musical notes if I was in a music class. And again, the same as the other tools, I can change the color here. For this, I might also find that the drawing tool is useful. So for example, if as I was counting out these coins, I wanted to maybe make an X over top of, say I'm going to count the dimes or circle all the dimes, I'm going to choose green. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to circle my dimes. And that might make them a little bit easier to count. You can do other things. You could write numbers. This does take a little bit of practice, because what I do is that you can either use two fingers, one to hold down the trackpad and the other one to draw, or if you get really kind of savvy, you can use your thumb to hold down the trackpad and another finger to draw, but it does take a lot of practice. So I didn't get great at this overnight. I had to do a lot of practicing to get here. So this is something that you can do in your spare time, is kind of practice drawing. And you can in Kami pull up a blank sheet of paper and use that to kind of practice. In addition to this drawing tool, I can change the thickness of the marker, and I can change the colors. There's also this tool called shapes. So if I wanted to, for example, if I wanted to circle all of the dimes again, I could use the tool like that to circle all of the dimes. Again, we talked about the eraser, so I can use this tool and it erases the entire shape, or then you can use this that can be erased for like all annotations. I can go back and I can erase that there. If I was working on a project and I needed to include an image from somewhere, I can use this to pull up an image from Google Drive. So for example, if I took a picture, and we did this in another tutorial, I took a picture and that was in my Google Drive, I can pull it up from here. If I needed to do an image search, I can search for images from here, and there's some stickers that you can use as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, something really, really important is the save feature. So you'll notice I have 6 unsaved changes, and actually it's saving it right now. So Kami does save anywhere from 30 seconds ago up until you saw there was a few minutes ago. It made its last save. Because the internet can be unpredictable sometimes and we can have errors, you want to make sure that you're saving pretty frequently and you're checking that your work is saving. The other piece to Kami is that if your teacher has pushed a Kami assignment out in Google Classroom, there's 2 different ways that they can do that. They can push it out as a regular assignment, or as a Kami assignment. If it's been pushed out as a regular assignment, it's going to look like mine does here. You're not going to find the turn in button across the top. If the teacher, however, chose Kami assignment in Google Classroom, you would have the turn in button there. Either way, not to worry, you need to make sure that you've saved your work. If you have the turn in button, you're going to click the turn in button and it's going to do it for you from there. If the turn in button is not there, you're going to go back into your Google Classroom and you're going to click turn in from that assignment page. So that was a quick overview of the tools in Kami. As always, if you have any questions, you can turn to the tech tips on my website, and we saw that in some of the other videos, or have your teacher send me a message and I will be happy to get back to you. Have a great day, friends.